Hello! What is up mga guys? Ako po si Kion at muling babalik po tayo dito sa aking munting mundo dito sa YouTube. Kung kayo po ay medyo natagalan kung bakit po akong nawala sa YouTube for almost a month, so punta po kayo sa video sa susunod video na nakaraan, yung mas earlier na na-upload kasi dito, so doon ko i-explain lahat. But then we are here again in a topic called Common Grounds. Medyo lalabas tayo ng ibang bansa. Tignan natin kung ano ba nangyari sa ibang bansa today. Especially we will go to the US of A. So, noong nakaraan pong exchange of the year, nakita po natin na nagpalit na po ang presidency ng US government from Joe Biden. Bumalik na po to kay Donald Trump. This will be his second term in the US presidency. He is on the helm na. As of the make of this video, inaugurated na siya na official president ng United States of America. And right from the get-go, gumawa po siya ng mga biglaan at very bold na moves. Sa pag-aaralan po natin ngayon yun, at tingnan natin ano ba ang magiging epekto nito in the local sphere sa US and also in the sphere, in the wider picture, in international affairs. As we know, US is a big player in foreign and world affairs. Everything revolves around kung ano ba ang say ng US sa mga bagay-bagay tungkol sa international affairs. Kaya makita po natin, tignan po natin isa-isa kung ano po, what so far ang in-announce po so far ni President Donald Trump. So, unang-una pong bagay na ginawa ni Donald Trump again is gumawa ng bold declarations. So one of the very bold declarations na ginawa niya is relinquishing US from the World Health Organization. So kung para po sa mga taong naninirahan sa ilalim ng kuweba, World Health Organization is an organization who internationally gives and brings health services for those countries na kulang sa healthcare. To meet up with the demands na kinahinihingi po ng international or current situations po natin. So, mostly ramdam po ang World Health Organizations during the pandemic kung saan they systematically join forces with wealthy countries, with countries who can help para po makapag-research ng mabilis para po sa bakuna na ginamit po natin ng COVID-19. And at the same time din po, sila po ngayon na nagpo-provide ng mga major health and wellness projects para po sa mga lugar na mababa po ang GDP or mababa po ang kita ng buong bansa pangkalahatan. Mostly African nations but also some nations in Latin America and Asia. So, titingnan po natin ngayon, nagtiwalag po ang sa World Health Organization ang US. This is the first bold move of President Donald Trump. So, ano po ba ang epekto nito? Dito sa Pilipinas, wala. Actually, sobrang yaman po natin sa pera. PhilHealth is nawala nga po yung malaking chunk ng pondo ng PhilHealth nitong 2025 budget, which is kind of sad kasi imbis na may pondo tayo na idadagdag para itulong sa mga taong nagkakasakit at may nangangailangan eventually ng pondo from the government ay yun. But anyway, hindi tayo apektado ng pag-alis nito kasi nga we are a stable country, we have very good financial economic status so far, even though hindi natin nanamdam, which is kind of weird. Government Senate Congress na even though hindi naman tayo ganong kaganda in healthcare providence or healthcare provisions, is we're not really on the monitoring eyes of the World Health Organization because we have stable medical systems. Hindi nga lang ganong kaganda ang medical and healthcare provisions, but still we have one of the most safety healthcare here in Asia. But in case of the whole wide world, medyo kind of questionable kung importante pa ba ang funding ng US sa ibang bansa. Kasi, again, hindi na po ito panahon nung nabuo yung World Health Organization na one of the most wealthy places is US. Ngayon po, US is just in the middle part of the income scale na. And most of the wealthy nations are willing to help the World Health Organization. Actually, most of the Arabian countries are helping now the World Health Organization when it comes to funding. Kaya, I think it's not really in the realm of possibility na yes, makikripple ang funding ng World Health Organization pero hindi ito magiging big deal. Kasi nga, nations from all over the world now is helping. And actually, hindi na nga sa US ang pinakamagagandang lab facilities. Most of them are in China and India na. Kaya we can say na it's safe to say na with this kind of withdrawal, pwedeng magtagal ng few months ang maramdaman nito in a few months, but masasubside naman ito. Pero bakit nga ba gumawa ng ganitong desisyon ang US? Kasi nga po, one of the campaign slogans of President Donald Trump is America First. If you are into history, ito yung katulad po ito ng panahon ni Lyndon Johnson at earlier presidents na they make a semi-isolationist stance when it comes to world affairs. What do I mean? During the time of Lyndon Johnson until the entrance of America in the World War I, ay hindi po nakikialam masyado ang US sa mga world affairs. And I think Donald Trump is medyo leaning towards that side kasi nga po unti-unti niyang bini-withdraw ang influence ng US sa mga global crisis and important global let us say factors like that one, healthcare and the insurance of health and wellness in many nations. Kasi nga po, as of the making of this video, as of right now, kung meron po kayo kakilalang nagtatrabaho or nag-migrate na sa US, homelessness is one of the most prevalent issues now in the US. Hindi na po sa Pilipinas lang may squatter, meron na din squatter sa US. And this is it's ballooning so much na people are starting to question kung kailangan ba talagang unahin ng US ang ibang bansa or kailangan itong unahin ang sarili niya. And the answer of their president is, yes, we need to focus on ourselves first. Our moral fiber, our standards is getting low right now. So sabi niya, America first. This is the first move. Removing the America in the World Health Organization, which is one of the most ano bang magandang term? One of those things internationally na ginagawa nila na nag-give sa kanila ng more strain sa kanilang budget since sila ay major donor ng funds sa World Health Organization together with the other nations. And at the same time po, in a more cultural part of America, gumawa po siya ng isang decision na I think will start civil rights or human rights activism again more prevalent in their country, which is Donald Trump's declaration that there are only two sexes, male and female. So again, putting this statement will be implemented, or it will be interpreted as an anti-LGBTQ plus claim, which is more prevalent sa lugar ng US. So kung alam niyo po, US has the very big history of sensitivity when it comes to rights, especially human and civil rights. Pinagtanggol po ng maigi po ng mga Amerikano ang karapatan po nila para po gawin ang mga bagay na sa tingin po natin ngayon ay pwedeng karumal-dumal or nakakasulasok or nakakasuka. But they fought for it. And during the time of the 70s and the 80s, during the Civil Rights Act or the Civil Rights Protest, kasama po ang pagtanggol po sa karapatan ng LGBTQ+, sa mga bagay na pinaglaban nila noong time na yun. And again, with this, hostility will again emerge kasi nga, of course, hindi naman po mananahimik lang LGBTQ+ community nila doon. They will strive hard once na nagsimula nang magkaroon ng hostility or magkaroon ng discrimination ulit with lesbian and gay people or whatever it is that you are part of the LGBTQ+. Ako personally, I don't have any issues on the LGBTQ+, as long as hindi po sila gumagawa ng mga bagay na hindi naman dapat nakikita in public, or kung okay lang naman kung basta maging maayos lang na tao. Hindi naman importante kung ano yung gender identity. Ang importante sa akin is kung decente kang tao. And more so in the US, expect for the news kung once na magkaroon po ng mga tao na bigyan ng freeway or leeway para gumawa po ng mga kakaibang bagay sa ibang kapwa nila Amerikano na may gender identity na kasama po doon sa hindi binanggit ni Donald Trump, ay magkakaroon po ng mga civil rights protest po doon. And for sure, magkakaroon po ng malaking mga bagay po na mangyayari doon na kikinalaman sa pagprotekta ng mga karapatang pantao o karapatang sibil ng mga tao. Well, hindi naman po tayo apektado doon unless you are planning to go to America and you are part of the LGBTQ+, then you have something to say about that. Leave that in the comments if you want to. If you want to discuss that with other people who are watching this video, you can leave that in the comments. Now, this is one of the most important things na ginawa po ng President Donald Trump, which is basically kasama tayo. As of now, may 12 immigrants na pinauwi ng US government dito sa Pilipinas. And I'm not really unknown to the details of it. I think there's criminal liability involved with that 12 people, but right now, since actually back then in the first term of Donald Trump, sobrang higpit niya sa immigrants and sa mga OFWs. Why? Dahil nga po, ang slogan niya is America First, or ang slogan niya is more on focusing on natives and local people of America. So that means, mula pa noon, hinihigpitan niya na ang paraan para makapunta ka sa Amerika. Actually, since back then, isa sa mga lugar na pinakamahirap puntahan if you're an OFW or just strolling around as a foreigner. Ang hirap pumunta doon, pagkuha ng visa, pagkuha na approval from their embassy. Pagpunta mo doon, pwede kang pabalikin agad pag may nakita silang butas sa iyo kahit nandun ka na. Ganon sila kahigpit. And right now, things are getting more strict. Up to a point na we will expecting many immigrants. And take note that term, immigrants, meaning they are full-fledged American citizens na, half citizen na sila na America, but still they are being deported because of some issues. So ngayon, expect po natin na madami po ito in the following weeks and following months and following years until the end of the final term of Donald Trump. Kasi nga po, nagiging strict po siya ngayon since opportunity in America is divided within OFWs, immigrants, and the locals. Kasi syempre, ang slogan niya is America First. Babawasan niya syempre ang mga tao between the OFWs or the foreign workers and the immigrants na nag-occupy ng space in America. So, expect nyo po, this is just a satire. Expect po na mga kamag-anak nyo po galing Amerika is mag-uuwian forcefully or inadvertently here in the Philippines sooner or later. Siguro sa part na to medyo sayang kasi since America is branded the land of opportunity, may mga Pilipino tayo doon na nakapag gumawa po ng malaking success sa buhay po nila by being in the US of A. Pero ngayon, since this is a trend now, slowly pulling many strings to his policy brains right now, early on in his term, we expect many immigrants, many Filipino people na nasanay na in living in America na babalik dito. So since this nation, our Philippines is built upon, since the Philippines is built upon the remittances of foreign workers and immigrants, make sure that there will be a big downfall in economy if this continues on, if the trend continues. And I think, so ngayon po, kung kayo po ay may kilala pong kamag-anak po na nagtatrabaho, undocumented or TNT, please right now, I give you 3 advice. First advice, wag nyo sila papupuntahin sa isang lugar kung saan ang state na yon ay legal ang death penalty, kasi for sure made-death penalty po sila. Strict na po ngayon ng Amerika. Pangalawa, encourage them to be documented. Umuwi sila dito sa Pilipinas hanggat kaya nila. And then ayusin nila ang papeles sila. Then bumalik po sila as documented people. Being a TNT is illegal. And we don't want our Filipino people to struggle or to be put on jeopardy or in danger dahil lang po sa kagustuhan po natin mag-uwi ng greenbacks or mga dollars dito sa Pilipinas in exchange of our lives or exchange of our loved ones' safety. So kung kaya niyo po silang encourage na umuwi na sa Pilipinas, sumuwarto para makauwi sa Pilipinas at ma-documented, please do so. And lastly, para sa mga nagbabalak na pumunta sa Amerika, please, kung kayo po ay magbabalak mag-OFW, mag-work po doon, don't go there as an TNT, please. Right now, it's very strict. Before this video is started, nag-scroll po ako sa ilang mga rules and regulations nila about foreign workers. Magiging napakahirap po ngayon kung ikaw isang TNT sa Amerika. So please, encourage our loved ones, encourage those you know that want to go to states na maging legalized, maging documented. Kasi again, kaya po legal, kaya po kailangan documented kasi kailangan po natin ng protection. Una ng batas po natin, pangalawa ng batas ng bansa na pupuntahan po natin. Kasi again, once you go to a foreign nation, their laws, their regulations will not be as soft or as light as ours. So yun nga po. And lastly po, isa sa mga hindi pa naman ganun nababalitaan o hindi pa naman pina-follow through ng President Donald Trump. But expect soon enough na totohanin niya po isa sa mga campaign ideas niya na pinakadahilan kung bakit siya binoto ng mga Americans, the withdrawal of US funding in wars. Especially sa mga upcoming or sa mga current wars ngayon sa international scene, which is the Israel against the Arab nations and the war in Ukraine. So ano ba magiging in case na po na ituloy po ni Donald Trump ang pag-withdraw ng funding sa mga wars, ano po magiging epekto po nito sa Pilipinas sa international stage? Well, first of all, in an international stage, if you make it in a geopolitical sense, malaki po magiging epekto po nun. Kasi po, since most of the technologically advanced weapons and military strategies are from US, so if it was withdrawn, expect that there will be many kinds of changes in the strategies and tactics of the many nations that is warring right now. When it comes in Israel against Arab countries, I think there will be no problem against it kasi Israel is very, very, very known to be persistent in war ever since the beginning. Yan. Since the beginning, aware naman po ang Israel na nakikipaglaban po siya sa karapatan niya manatili sa lugar kung saan siya nakalagay ngayon, laban po sa mga Arab and Palestinian nations. So that conflict will not give much of a concern with if aid from US is withdrawn, but most likely the things na mga tagay na kailangan nating i-consider is two things. One is close to us and one is already affecting us but will affect us a lot more. First, the war in Ukraine. Right now, the war in Ukraine is in a stalemate. Wala pa pong balita kung sino po ang gumagawa po ng advance or not. But most likely po, kung mawawala po ang funding and technological advancement ng US, it most likely that Ukraine will usurp or submit to what will happen in the war. And most likely din po, eventually they will surrender or they will be defeated. Kasi nga po, most of the artillery and military capabilities na kaya pong i-provide ng Amerika ay hindi po kayang i-provide ng ibang bansa. So that will cause lot of damages in technological and strategical values of the Ukrainians, up to a point na maybe they will just stay and be fine na ibigay na sa Russia kung ano po yung mga lugar na po na nasakop po nila, which is kind of troubling. Kasi nga po, again, this quasi world war is about the dream of one Vladimir Putin to revive the USSR or to revive the old Soviet territory, which involves Ukraine, Pakistan, Uzbekistan and the other Turkmenistan and the other nations. So it will cause some kind of ripple effect when it comes to the other nations that once part of Soviet Union but now is relieving their own sovereign rights. It will be a big deal for them. And one thing naman po na importante naman po sa atin, once the funds of the US government and the strategic and the military might of the US government was withdrawn as his presidency once said, one of the most important places na pinaka-importanting mangyayari is the war against the looming conflict of US and the Asian nations against China in the territory of Taiwan. So kung alam niyo po, if you're not living under the rock, Taiwan is being a melting pot or a boiling point where China, US, and the Asian countries are in a tight struggle kung saan nga ba kabilang ang Taiwan. Is it a sovereign nation or it's a part of China? So again, if you will ask the Taiwanese, of course they are a sovereign nation, but at the same time their Chinese mainland is claiming Taiwan is part of China. And many nations have big disputes against China right now that is backed up by the US government. So kung magbaback out ang US with comes of funding militarily and strategic fundings, this conflict may blow over as something of kind of another regional war, what happened in the Middle East between Israel and the Arab Palestinian nations. So, do I need to be alarmed na ganito ang gusto mangyari ni President Donald Trump? Actually, oo at hindi. Why? Oo, kailangan mangamba kasi without the confidence that given by America, China could attack anytime soon. And many conflicts, especially our own conflict against the Chinese nation will tantamount to a war. And if you love peace and that kind of living you have now, you don't want war. But at the same time, you don't need so much to be worried. Why? Kasi like any other policies of US throughout the history, kaya lang nila gawin yan as long as there's no conflict happening. But once there conflict now, they will be eventually forced to go and be part of the conflict. So again, katulad na po na example ko po earlier, during the time of President Lyndon Johnson, the state of America is on a quasi-isolationist stance. But then when war broke out, it's all water under the bridge. Let war presume. And again, even late in that war, America joined forces with the America joined the war, the Great War, eventually, and put it in a conclusive victory. Somehow, some kind of. At ganoon din po mangyayari. Once war broke out, eventually, US needs to protect its capitalist world order, and eventually they will start to join the war. I don't want, but fortunately for us, we don't want to be part of a war. So let's hope for the best na hindi maging epekto nito ay conflicts in our regions, but still peace and harmony to us. So in all of what I've said, now with push come to shove, with all said and done, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin po na nangyayari in the US presidency? This is a stark reminder that nations eventually will succumb to the needs of the people. Kahit ano pa ang wealthy ng isang bansa, kahit gaano man kaganda ang policy brains, gaano man kaganda ang structure ng isang bansa, eventually, even the strongest nation will succumb to the needs of their own people. At yun po nangyayari sa US. If you're someone who cares, because I know many people don't care, if you're someone who cares, you might be troubled. But this war is these things that happen during the inaugural week of President Donald Trump is just a minor setback on what we have used to. We used to see the state of America as this beacon of bacon. I mean, this beacon of opportunity, land of the free, land of the brave, a powerhouse of the world, a place where immigrants and foreign people can go there and better up their situation. But right now, they need to face the concerns of their common people. Things are starting to go downside for them for a little while, so they need to focus more on their people, and we need to face the truth, even though you want it or not, if you think it's exaggerated or not, the moves are so brash or not. It is the truth. The president of each nation must address the things the people need, or in government in general, the government must address what their constituents, their nation, their people needs. And we're now in the stage where America is slowly tipping away from being this watchdog, this always marites nation who wants to mingle with other nations' plans or affairs. Will it cause some kind of a downfall, some kind of aggressive move from the other nations? We don't know yet, but hopefully they do not, because again, as we know, America is too quick to draw back from their narratives just to go back to their narratives, if you know what I mean. They easily go back, they backside their opinions just to push their opinions again forcefully, as said by one president of the United States of America, put their big stick on their hand and going around giving like a boss. So that's all for now, our topic on common grounds. So salamat sa mga nanood sa matagal na video nito with a little bit of comments about what happening to the US and how it probably shake the world order soon enough and what it will affect to our Filipino people. Again, kung isa ka pang tao may concern, may pake, don't be alarmed. It's part of being a nation to focus on your people. Kahit hindi yung ginagawa minsan ng ating mga taong ine-elect sa ating mga posisyon sa gobyerno, pero it's a common part of nation, of being a government, focusing on your people first. But eventually they will, again, like I said, they push back their opinions, these Americans, just to push it back forward in your mouth, straight in your face. So I think, let's see, in a year or two, the narrative will change. And most especially, it's just 4 years. Eventually, in their next elections, a new president will change the cycle altogether. So yun lang, that's all. That's all. Thank you for your time, and again, that's all I need to say. Goodbye. Get out of here.